Hey, what's up? You are tuned in and back at the Bougie AF channel with your host, Shug Avery. I just got to the place in life I was just like, I don't know. I'm just bougie. Now let's get into the show.
Hey, what's up? You and welcome back to my channel, Bougie AF, with your host, Miss Shug Avery. All right, y'all. So this video's not gonna be too long. Y'all know I'm sitting here. I got my chapstick, keeping my lips nice and smooth on these haters. All right, so today's video is not gonna be that long because I feel like I don't want to beat a dead horse, and I feel like there's been a lot of videos, which would probably be the case. So it gives me the room to just like do really fast videos because that's what I want to do. Anyway, so Gucci Man versus, and plus when I talk about things, it's necessarily not talking about like the gossip aspect of it, but more or less I try to just talk about it. So Gucci Man versus Jeezy. So I mean, surprisingly, I thought that Jeezy won. Right? I went into the situation. If you don't know what I'm talking about, on let me pull it up. Let me pull it up. On November 18th, let me see. On November 18th, Jeezy and Gucci Mane had a versus, and the versus is let's see, was November 18th, and it did amazingly well. Shout out to Timbaland and what's his name? Timbaland and Swiss Beats on like creating this. This has been amazing. Like this like 2020 versus, right, which will continue to go on hopefully because it's became something that's been amazing where people were just like trying to do it from two different places. Now it became to like a mini concert series in the same place. Like I mean, like so far, if you think about verses, my top verses so far, I love the Patty and Gladys Knight. Of course, you can't like Monica and Brandy. And then the reggae one, probably for me right now, are my top three. And the past one that we just had, like it's up there because, but those numbers. Let me see. Where's that? Where's that? Those numbers got more. They got more views on the verses this past one than the American Music Awards that just passed. Like it literally like it shattered records. Like in a sense, like a lot of people like a lot of these award shows, and even before the pandemic. So a lot of people even before the pandemic, they were having a hard time getting views. Like for real. So let me see. They're saying that verses probably got like 9 million type of different views, impressions all across the board. Whereas I think this last AMA boards were like 6 million. So like versus is really cleaning up. But let's get to why we are here. So if you watched it, then you've seen that, Gucci Man was on 10, right? Gucci Man was on 10, and Jeezy was being Garfield. If you don't know who the cat Garfield is, Jeezy was being Garfield, and let me tell you why. And while while Gucci Man was on 10, and he was with the hood shit in his $10,000 outfit. I thought it was funny. He was with the hood shit in his $10,000 outfit, just letting you know, like that was really like they're also ghetto though. Like talking about your clothes and money. I hate that black people do that shit. Like we don't see white people doing. That's not to say we compare ourselves to them, but at some point in time, we just really gotta grow out this nigga shit. And like y'all like talking about y'all money. Y'all both got money. You know what I'm saying? It was like, really, is that what we're gonna do in this pandemic, where people are just hoping and wishing for an additional stimulus check? Is to be niggas and talk about money? But anywho, so Jeezy, and if you don't know the backstory, Jeezy and Gucci Mane have beef because at one point in time they did this song called Icy. Now, I was around and I was off the port, so I know this music very well. So, but I guess I don't know, something happened between them. Hold on. Something happened between them and they just were not cool. They started making diss tracks against each other. I think in one of Jeezy's diss tracks, he said, "I'm 10,000 on his head. Whoever can bring me his change." He wanted Gucci Mane's change. So it just was just war. So what ended up happening, Gucci Mane was laid up with some female one night, and someone tried to break in the house. He heard them. It's not even alleged. Like this has already been proven in the court. He heard it, grabbed his gun, and fired on them, and ended up killing somebody. Right? Cool. All of that happened. Now it came later on to find out that that person was associated with Jeezy. Now Jeezy has already came out. I will tell you this: Jeezy seems like he suffers with accountability, and let me tell you why. Because you can't put a bounty on somebody's head, and then when one of your mans do it, be like, I didn't send him on a crash dummy mission. I had to think about that for a second. Like you can't say that you didn't send your homie on a crash dummy mission. You did put the money up. Now, not to say that you made nobody do it, but you literally made that shit happen, my nigga. So for to see that you want to now just be like, I didn't send him. No, you sent anybody. You are responsible for that, but you didn't plan it. You didn't tell him how to do it, but you are responsible for it. Anywho, so that happened. So they doing all their songs and back and forth and da da da. Now, only reason I say Jeezy won is because I think the production and the sound was just so off with Gucci Mane's music that when Jeezy songs hit, it just sounded clearer. It just sounded better. Like I don't know, it just sounded better. And also for Jeezy, like that first album, top to bottom. I was mad that they didn't get to talk to him. The last song, I think he was dedicated to his dead homies. I think his grandma or something like that. That last song was, that's my shit right there. But I like every single song on our album hits. That first Jeezy album, every single song hits on that album. You can't tell me that's probably one of the top 5 albums for me. Like I love that shit. Like when they were doing it, me and my brother was in the. I started playing that CD before we got started, right? But for me, I felt like I picked Gucci Mane because I do think Gucci Mane has better like songs. Like Gucci Mane has a lot more songs. You get what I'm saying? He just didn't pick a lot of the songs that I felt like he should have had in there. There were songs missing, and like I said, the sound quality was just off. Cool. So there comes a point in the verses where Gucci Mane like plays the song where he talks about the dude who he killed, right? And then once the song is over, he said some fire shit that I'm not even going to repeat. But let's just say nobody is, digging up dead homeboys. It was like borderline. And I'm no square, like I can't repeat something, but I'm one of those people like I really don't really like say certain shit. It gotta be because I'm mad. You know what I'm saying? But so he's talking about digging somebody up and send him again. I'll do it again. Like it was just like he started singing them out. Wow. At the end of it, so that led to Jeezy being like, "Oh man, that's not why we here. I'm thinking about all these people. This is bigger than me and you. I called you here because I thought we could be two grown men and give the people." He went into all his Martin Luther King. Now, the big debate and the reason why this is being a topic, is because people felt like Gucci Mane was wrong. Like, why are you still bringing that up? Somebody lost their life. People got loved ones watching this. Like, you're being very insensitive. They end up piecing everything up and going to the compound in Atlanta. I guess Atlanta doesn't have the COVID. It's the only place in America without the COVID. They are partying. I want to go party, and they are doing it. Now, just remind you, I say shit to just be like, throw it in there. But nobody is rushing to the Atlanta for the COVID. But I'm just saying, that life looks really good in Atlanta with the non-COVID. But anyway, they pieced things up and they went out afterwards and da. But afterwards, like Gucci Mane just really people were just saying, "Yo, you're wrong, you're tacky. Why'd you do that?" Blah 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 blah. And it's just like I think I seen my son's video and he was talking about growth and men getting to a certain age and stuff like that. And it was like that then back then I don't know why when he said that it kind of pissed me off. And let me tell you why. And I took it back to I think I think people will come around you and they feel like they know what's something that's going on in your life or something that has happened in your life, right? And they feel like because of your response to that thing or how you feel about things that they can then come around and tell you about your growth and where you're at as a human being. And it's just like, no, you don't get to do that. You a stranger on the outside. You the stranger who's not around me. You the stranger who doesn't know how I move in my everyday life. You the stranger who don't know my character, my strengths, my core values, and you don't know any of those things about me. You don't get to come around here and tell me because you don't like a reaction to one thing that overall that tells you about my growth as a person. Who the hell do you think you are? How if I took, and this is not directed at my son, but this is just in people in general. How if I took a little brief glimpse into your life and just try to tell you who you are as a person and how you haven't grown? And you know what I'm saying? And just like, I didn't like that take that people tried to take on Gucci Mane when Gucci Mane was already, like when it comes to this situation, and I would feel him. He had to sit in jail for a little bit. He had to sit in jail. He had to sit in jail when then 3 men came to get him. Okay, we're talking about someone trying to kill you. When these 3 men came to get you, and you end up having to go sit in jail for a little bit while you prove that it was self-defense. You know, I don't care if 15 years later don't get to sit around and tell me about my growth when comes to me dealing with a situation. And I tell you that why? How you know I haven't grown to the point that one night I made a sat outside that nigga's house and thought about going to get him? How do you know I haven't grown? How do you know? How do you know how hard it has been for that man to get over the fact that people tried to, for a while he was living during that time, had to look over his shoulder, live with that PTSD, always feeling like somebody trying to get you? How you know he ain't grown? Could have hit out on me, or any reasonable person. That's what. So I think that's why it turned. And where people was like, no, you don't get to. We've seen his growth in other ways. I mean, there's a lot more growing that Gucci Man can do. Like, take care of your autistic and your disabled child. That's where his growth is. But when it comes to someone who put a hit on his life, nah, I would have respect. You need to take care of that growth, but you don't want to speak on that because that's not what men do. Men feel like it's easier. Oh, I'll talk about some hood shit, some shit that shouldn't even really fucking matter, but you won't correct your mans when they're not good baby daddies or when they're not good husbands, or you won't call that out. The shit that matters. You won't call the protect the black woman stuff out. I'm not saying, and again, this is not towards my son, so please don't say that, because he is heavy on the protect the black woman. He's heavy on calling shit out across the board. He does that for women and men. He's not a biased person where he disappears off his platform and he doesn't speak on things. Right or wrong, if I agree with him, he speaks about it. But this is for the men who don't, who pick and choose when they want to speak about things, and how they're going to speak about it, and how far and how intensely they're going to speak about it. But they'll intensely go in on women, intensely go in on the street shit. All I'm saying, I didn't judge Gucci Man by what he did on that stage. Is it distasteful? No. Did I feel like he should have recognized that Jeezy was being a Cheshire cat? He was being, Garfield. He should have recognized that. If you talked to this man beforehand and you already told him how you were coming, that's not to say Jeezy has to act just like Gucci Man, but I think Gucci Man has to be a little bit more seasoned, and Keisha need to talk to your man and be like, yo, when it comes to someone like that, you play somebody how they playing you, right? So when Gucci Man seen that he wasn't getting that type of energy from Jeezy, I wouldn't have let him play me on that type of national stage on some old, like, I'm gonna let you crash out. I wouldn't have let him play me. I would have played it just like him, not in my face. Yeah. Oh, we would have been all posh and bougie and, all unbothered myself. I would have picked up on that shit and got unbothered too. Oh, hell. There's just no way. You get what I'm saying? So that's what I think he could have did a better job as, recognizing what that energy was and what that reading the room was and what that was. I mean, they were never going to walk away and be like best friends or anything, and that's fine. They did it for everybody who wanted to see that happen. But I'm just not going to play Gucci Man on some, oh, where's your growth at, when we've seen his growth. You get what I'm saying? I mean, he lost his growth. Remember that big stomach? Y'all remember them fucking pictures from Gucci Man before Keisha? BK, that's before Keisha. Before Keisha, that nigga had an 8-month-old belly. So we've seen his growth in other ways and taking care of himself and, getting healthier, because he was not healthy. When he got the ice cream cone on his face, was not healthy. So, we've seen growth. So, but for him to say that was just like, I don't know, people. I'm not gonna say him. I'm gonna people to say, "Oh, where's his growth?" And I don't like people to try. I don't like when people act like they don't behave and react like humans because they're on camera, or because, you know what I mean, they got a following and they want to make sure they're saying all the right things on camera. That's just not the way it goes. Like, no, that's just not real life. In real life, like, it's not love after you try to get me knocked off. It's not cool. But at the same time, you don't have to say those things. But especially when someone's not really like you. To me, I feel like, Gucci, you won. You're here. You're alive. The devil sent somebody for you and then they failed. You're alive. So I don't feel like, he should, if anything, it should have been like, I'm the blessed, I'm chosen. You know what I'm saying? That's what he should have said after he performed that song. Tell homie, the blessed is still here. Like, you should have just on some fly, smooth shit if I used it and walked off on it. All that other shit, digging shit up, that's crazy. All right, y'all, that's all I got on the Gucci Man. And and Jeezy in the versus battle. Like I love versus. Versus is doing its thing, and I don't know who's next, but y'all know. I don't know if y'all know, but like I got some faves out there that need to get a versus. I'm a big Trick Daddy fan. I believe Trick Daddy should go against Ti. I don't know. I know he's scheduled against somebody else, but I think Trick and Ti is cataloged because of Ti coming in on like the end of the beginning of the 2000s, and then I think Trick was still in there, but he kind of like I don't know, like a handoff of the, you know what I mean? I think Baton or something, whatever. But I think Trick and Ti probably would. I would like to see it. Two men from the South, and I know I keep putting Atlanta against Atlanta, but I really would love to see a Florida artist like Trick. I know we had some, but like I mean, like Trick. Like I know we had T Pain. Who else we had from Florida? But no, no, no. There's nothing like Trick Daddy sound and what they did. So I want somebody to come in that can represent that. And I just think that Ti has enough upbeat, like you know what I mean, club bangers. And I still have somebody who has that also got that upbeat shit going with it, and he does. That they can go back and forth. So yeah, Ti and Trick. I want to see Trick. All right, y'all. What else? Oh, on the women's side, because I feel like we go so long. One, we haven't had a woman hip hop artist, and it's hard because the only Nicki versus who? Nobody. Nicki versus nobody. Well, we're gonna have a versus night just honoring her on her new baby and her beautiful career that the Grammys. That we can have a versus and it just be Nicki versus Nicki, because that's all it is, and that's because she's been doing it. I'm not just saying I gotta say Little Kim, Foxy, but you got to keep doing it. And Lil Kim has kept doing it past what? How many albums did we get out of Kim? I love me some Kim, but I just don't like how she treats Notori Naughton. And I don't think that's women empowerment. Don't rap about women empowerment. Don't act like you for other women, and then you got this colorist shit that you got going on with yourself, and that you no girl. And it's funny talking about lyrics and I'm gonna get to my Meg The Stallion video when you fall into being a fan of somebody based off like their work, and you kind of like to think that's a true representation of who they are. And I had to really sit back. Let me tell you why I said I used to, and I just said it this. When did I say this? Sometime last year, I was at the hairdressers and we were talking about me being a Meg The Stallion fan, and I had said to someone about Little Kim. I said, you know what I liked about Meg was that I thought I'm not going there now. I thought she was who she said she was in her lyrics, right? And it's easy to kind of, you think people are keeping it real about who they are. And I mean deeper than the sexuality part of it, but she really raps as though she comes from a real like woman empowered women boss up, know who you are, don't let these niggas play on you type of place, right? So I used to say I love that she raps what she talks about. You know what I'm saying? And lives, right? It came across as though that's who she was as a person. And I just thought that was so dope, right? On the back end of that, because I was looking at Little Kim and just to see like how she rapped and seemed so confident and niggas can't do this, and then but real life it just never been that way in a sense of you've been in quite a few relationships, you let niggas dog you out, we've all been there, but you a little bit longer, right? You have that whole situation with Biggie and Faith. I guess what I'm saying, I think it was very clear you got this colorist issue that she was just nowhere near the person who we thought she was. And that's fine. I don't think there's nothing wrong with saying that because we get on rappers for not being who they say they are in their lyrics. And I think that's the same thing can apply to women. Like, don't come out and talk about women empowerment and all these things and fuck these niggas, but you really out here doing the most for niggas. That's weird. Just be who. Just say everything for these niggas. I do everything for them. I don't know, but just keep it real about who you are. And I think for me, that's Lil Kim kind of falls short of that. Back to the women. So that makes sense we did R&B, but I really want to see the women groups. So I would love to see SWV versus Destiny's Child. Yes, I think that would be a a dope matchup. And the reason I say, oh, Beyonce can't go against no, Destiny's Child is a group. And so their catalog is different than Beyonce's catalog. So when I was just listening to SWV the other night, and I mean, I was like, oh shit, that first album really just like, they like, I wanted to dance. I really feel like when you look at the catalog of SWV's music and they have numerous albums and you look at all the hits on all of the albums, the SWV would sweep up Destiny's Child. I say that, and I don't even be joking, but SWV would sweep up Destiny's Child. I'll talk about music, and when you hear those songs, and you're just like, whoa, yeah, we got, is it Bootylicious? Yeah, we got some tracks from Destiny's Child, but even even all these years later, we talk about catalog and how well the music stand up after a long periods of time. You still will say that SWV's music stands up stronger wise than Destiny's Child. Because if you think of that, was it that second album or their first album, Bills, 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 or Writing on the Wall? It was good, but then if you go back and just compare Writing on the Wall to the in-depth writing, and that's not to say because we all know Beyonce, that was one of her first beginnings of writing, but if you go compare the writing on for Writing on the Wall and then SWV's first album and this just their albums in general, SWV wins that. Just saying. Coco's a bad bitch. That's a bad bitch. She can sing her ass off, and she covered that Patti LaBelle cover on the one of the last SWV's releases that did. Oh, it's so beautiful. But yeah, I give it to SWV. But all right, that's all I got. Y'all stay bougie. Y'all stay posh. I'm gonna go ahead and get some more videos out. Peace.